Hey everyone, Eric on Paper here, and I wanted to show you some of the techniques I use to traditionally color this beautiful Jesse Wichman Ladydeath piece, and here's the final result. So getting started, the first thing I like to do in situations like this is start with the highlights and my light sources. In this case, it was really obvious, the flames coming from her and around her. So I started with a series of Copic markers because of their bolder color. And the way I like to work with Copics is I start with the medium shade I'm going to use first. Then I go to the darker shade, and then I blend it all with the lighter shade. And with the flames, I started with oranges and then used the lightest shade of yellow, which is Y000, I believe, to complete it. Now here I used an orange micron pen as an experiment. I wanted to see if I could simulate a line hold, which is where you change the color of the inked line itself. And because this was printed out onto marker-friendly or Copic-friendly paper, I couldn't quite change the line exactly, but it still provided a better definition for what I was going for. And as I work these pieces, I have to keep in mind too that these lights are going to be illuminating certain aspects of her figure. And Ladydeath has white skin completely, so most of the definition are going to come from the orange of these flames. And the decision I had wrestled with early on was, should I make that part of the background or not, like having the roses be affected? And ultimately I decided against that. And here, when I'm adding the highlights on her body, it's the exact same process that I use to color in the flames. I use the same layers, the same colors. It's important to keep those on hand and remember the order that they came from. And it's a matter of common sense, I would say, and choice, where exactly you want the colors. I try to keep it semi-realistic. I mean, obviously this is a very stylized drawing, very good drawing too, but what I was doing was just looking at where the flames would hit and putting the light there accordingly, because if I did an entire rim lighting of the figure, the effect would kind of be lost. Now here I am working on her hair, and I used a neutral gray for her hair. Copic makes different varieties of cool gray, neutral gray, and warm gray, and to help differentiate her, I decided I would use cool gray for her skin because it has a subtle bluer tone, but her hair would get neutral gray, and I'm going deliberately darker than I would anticipate because I can always go back in with a white gel pen and add in white highlights and things like that, or even use a white colored pencil or pastel to soften up the darkness. And here we can see with the cool grays, I am following the muscle definition, and I didn't add a lot onto her face because that would best be served by a softer colored pencil, but there I am just working the shadows more. And the point of coloring like this is to provide definition to the figure and breaking things down to their basic shapes, like the legs are to be cylinders and things like that, and also paying attention to where the shadows would be in reality, because if they're not all headed in a logical direction, something will be off. Now with the blue, I didn't honestly bother doing too much shading other than just dyeing the paper with the Copic markers, because I knew for the effect I wanted, I'm going to have to go in with colored pencil like you're seeing here. Now with this, I wanted to give it a typically black leather look, but didn't just want to shade it in all black, so I started working it with blues and then going in with a black colored pencil and even grays then to dim the blues. And now on these roses here, I had a lot of fun with those, in that I dyed the paper with my base Copic marker and as you can see, with a variety of colored pencils at the same slot. Just started working and defining each and every shape to give it a realistic look, almost going for a painterly effect. And as you can see, I decided not to have it be too affected by everything. I added a simple purple background, and there you have it, Ladydeath.